Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our last happy hour of 2023, which completely makes me
Oh,
I'm here. My name's Lisa, and I'm here with my lovely co host, Brenda, and another certain someone we all love sometimes, Ron Block.
Depends on the day. Depends on my behavior.
And we,
so far so good.
and we are going to have a super fun night. So you're probably wondering why I have a feather on my head.
Some people may.
This is my Jack Skellington Mickey Mouse ears. I'm in a Nightmare Before Christmas mood, and I'm drinking out of this lovely Nightmare Before Christmas glass that one of my dear friends and book club member Alicia gave me. So thank you. And we are here for the
What
bookish party.
what's in your glass?
Yes.
Okay, I'll start off with what I'm drinking. I am drinking a PB&J spritzer, and it is delicious. I put like 2 ounces of PB&J whiskey, then about an ounce of triple sec, and then I filled the grass.
Not already.
I fi-
Did you have
Hash,
one to test it?
hashtag Tipsy Lisa. She's here.
no, I didn't test it. I'm just glad it turned out good. And then I filled the glass with cranberry Waterloo sparkling water. And this is what it came out to. It's delicious.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I may be tipsy by the end. Do
You
we
may
need a
be.
buzzword? Are we doing a buzzword?
No.
Um, no, no, we're not. Well, while we're thinking about that, I am excited to share mine because this really turned out well and I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
This is a mocktail mistletoe margarita
Ooh,
and it is
It's
very tasty. I'll
lovely.
post the thank you. I will post the recipe is for can be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but it has cranberry juice, orange juice, 7 Up, lime, and some fresh cranberries and a sprig of rosemary on top. So it tastes delicious. So I'm
ooh.
excited to share.
Brenda, you're getting all fancy on us.
I know she's all like bougie and
Look
stuff.
out.
Like I
Look
love
out.
it. I love it.
Totally. Totally.
And I'm like, oh, I just poured some cranberry water on top of
I just got the
whiskey.
jug out the cellar. Uh-oh.
And Ron, what are you drinking?
Well, I forgot to bring a cocktail this evening.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Okay. So if some of my picks will reflect this tonight too. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I am doing I work on a committee for the American Library Association, and what we're doing is coming up with cookbooks, food and beverage books that every library in the country should have from 2023. And one of them is
Oh,
this cocktail is from one of those books, and that'll be my first pick when we get there. But in the meantime, this is something called the Turf Club, and it's something that was its original date. I think they discovered it in 1900, well before the dry martini. So you know that.
Ooh.
And it was brought by a man named Henry Johnson, and he was a bartender at Delmonico's Steakhouse in Lower Manhattan, and he's the one that started it. So
wow.
we'll go through the ingredients, and I'll post everything. And if anybody's my friend on Facebook, and if you're not, please friend me. Um, it posted a picture of this the other day, so you kind of had it. It's an ounce and a half of Plymouth gin. I can't measure and talk at the same time, apparently.
Gin makes you
That's
stun.
okay. And
And
no matter
then
how many times you do it, I still try to lean over and
Yeah.
see what you're doing.
I know, right? And then we have vermouth blanc, which is a white vermouth. It's a little mix between sweet and dry vermouth, and that's also an ounce and a half. Or if you're Lisa, you can have two.
You waited until I sipped to say that.
Yes, I did. And then our good old friend, the maraschino cherry liqueur, a quarter ounce of
Yum.
that.
Oh, I forgot maraschino cherry juice is in here is my drink too.
Look at you.
Ooh,
Not quite the same thing, but
Okay.
close enough.
Okay. Then a quick dash of orange bitters. Boop.
Love bitters.
And a quick dash of, you ready for this? Secret ingredient. Absinthe.
You
make
did
it-
it.
I did. I did it. But it's just a dash is all it is. Makes it all licoricey. Okay, so then I've got it in my mixing glass, and you just want to make it really cold. You just stir it and stir it and stir it and stir it. Let it sit for half a second because you want to get your glass ready with cocktail cherry. And tonight I've got the Woodford Reserve Bourbon.
Ooh.
Lisa, you can have a couple. You'll be all right. You'll be. Do you get that into the glass? The other thing to remember is that it needs a little bit of citrus in there too. So you have a little lime, whatever you call it. And then just kind of squeeze it a little bit and get the juice around on the rim. So you can taste it when you're taking a sip. Make sure your drink is nice and cold. And then I'm going to strain it into my little coupe glass.
That looks so good.
oh, look at the little strainer thingy.
There you have the Turf Club.
I'm on my way.
Come on up. Come on over. Oh, it is good. It is good. It's got a little
Well,
tiny
cheers.
sweetness. And cheers to the last happy hour of the year. Thank you so much for always
Cheers.
including me.
Of course, we couldn't do without you.
I don't know.
And cheers to our book club members.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to everyone who's watching. And for those of you making fun of me in the chat, I see you.
They're making fun of you? Oh, because of
No,
your
they're
hat?
teasing me. What Diane
People
said,
post
Diane said, I think Lisa hit some before the shoe. And I'm like, the shoe? What are you drinking, Diane? I don't have any shoes on. So
What is
I'm just
everybody
kidding.
out there drinking?
Yeah,
I
tell
can't
us in
see
the chat what you're drinking. So while you guys are putting that in the chat, I have to tell you a funny story because we have done the Friendsgiving. We've talked about turducken, and Mary asked in the chat about my turducken. I'm not having turducken, but I do have a funny story. I was at work. I told Brent this yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. I was at work and I got in the elevator, and there were these two guys in the elevator. My job is on the 15th floor. So I'm in the elevator and they're talking, and the guy's like, "Oh, how was your Thanksgiving?" And he's like, "Oh, it was great. We had a nice big old turducken." And I was like, I've never heard that word, and now it's everywhere.
Until
And the guy
Friendsgiving.
I know, he's like, "Oh, you did?" He's like, "Well, did you make it yourself?" "Oh no, I wasn't doing all that. That's a lot of stuffing." He was like, "We already had it done." And I was like, I am about to die laughing in this elevator. Get me out. It was so funny. So apparently one of the guys in my building had a nice stuffed pre-made turducken. I don't know where you get those, but
I don't either. You can buy them off the back of a truck on the street.
off exit 7 next to the
Excuse me.
peaches.
Yeah. Outside the Piggly Wiggly.
Well, you know what Piggly Wiggly is?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
In fact, one of the Friends of Fiction stops, we were in a town and I had never been in one, and I've always wanted to go inside, so I went in. I'm like, I finally got to go Piggly Wiggly. It was
You're
They
everything
like,
I
have
had.
t-shirts.
You have a T-shirt? Oh,
No, they have t-shirts.
I didn't know that.
Meet
Oh
me
my
at the pig.
gosh. Wow.
That's something.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, what's up now?
I was gonna say, well, we could probably start talking about some books
We
We
could,
could.
could, we
at
could, we could,
some
we could.
point.
We could.
Ron, would you
Yes,
mind starting us off with
yes.
a
Well,
couple of picks?
so I have here. So if we get time, I have several of the cookbooks that I'm really, really excited about for this year. So they're going to make great holiday gifts. This is the one where this drink came from. It is called Splendid or Signature Cocktails.
Ugh,
And we'll post the covers and the other things. It's by someone named
love it.
Amanda Schuster. And I did a cocktail demo, I think 2 book clubs ago with Michael Ruhlman's book of cocktail ratios that I love so much. And it's better only because it takes all of the recipes and finds out the history of them, where they came from, what's the story behind them, what's the
I
thing, and
love
then it
that.
comes up with the recipes. It's if you have somebody in your on your gift list who loves a cocktail and likes to read about the cocktails, man, it is full and drinks I've never heard of. But like there's a gin basil smash.
Ooh, that looks
Oh,
good.
Yeah. It
You
tells you
love your gin.
it lists the year that it was invented. It lists what city it was invented in, and what the
huh.
and the person that invented it, along with if there is a restaurant or something that's affiliated with it or a famous bar. So it's full of things. Oh, there.
Okay. Before we jump in, I do want to share some of the answers in the chat
Uh-oh.
of what people are drinking. Um, oh, Maria Lou says love PB&J whiskey. And Anne says I love a good mocktail. Everybody said your drink looks really good, Brenda.
Oh, thank you.
And Mindy said she's drinking an iced matcha tea latte. Ooh, that sounds good.
Those sound good.
Ooh.
It's perfect for the cold weather. And Lori made homemade chocolate covered cherries last night. Well, Lori,
Lori
I'll
wins.
send you my address if you want
I was
to.
gonna say Lori wins.
And Leslie's drinking Woodford Reserve. Oh, Woodford Reserve is the best bourbon, she says. Not
Yes,
sure
it
if she's
is.
drinking it tonight. But cheers. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for sharing. There's a whole. Oh, Sharon said, let the shenanigans begin.
Uh-oh.
Diane's drinking a glass of red wine. Nothing to do with shoes. Okay.
Okay. Brenda, how about sharing a book title?
Okay, I think I will. And let me see if I can bring this up on the screen. Well, I don't need to because I have a little thing right here. Okay, my first pick is called Three Holidays and a Wedding.
Cute.
And it is I guess you would say it's a rom-com, and it's written by Ujma Halaludin, and that's my best shot at it, Marissa Stapley. But it's the premise is these two strangers are on an airplane together, and one of them is going to meet her rich boyfriend's family and is all stressed out. The other one is going to her sister's impromptu wedding, and there's an emergency landing, and they're all stranded together in Toronto in a hotel. And they've told each other all their secrets as the plane was going down. So it's kind of comedy ensues. But I really like the premise. So that's my first pick.
Very cool. That
Love
sounds
it.
good.
That does sound good.
So most of my picks are out of the box a little bit tonight, but surprise, surprise, I'm wearing a Jack Skellington headband.
That's
So
okay.
Happy
this
Halloween.
first, hey, Jack Skellington counts for Christmas and Halloween.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the first
And
book I'm recommending is super cute. It's a graphic novel. It's called Number One is Walking: My Life in the Movies and Other Diversions by Steve Martin. If you're a Steve
Oh,
Martin fan, you have to read this. It is so, so cool. He talks about his life. Here, let me pull up. It's illustrated by Harry Bliss, which does amazing drawings, but just like some of the things inside the book, it shows notes and it's in the graphic novel format. But he talks
Oh,
about his life throughout the movies, all of the things that he's done, and he kind of talks about the title Number One is Walking. So for those of you that don't work in the film industry, the call sheet is numbered, and the person who's at the top of the call sheet is usually the star of the show. So the co-star might be two or three, and for security purposes, they don't want to yell out, Steve Martin's walking or Steve Martin's coming. So they always yell out, Number One is walking or Number Three is walking or whatever. So that's why that's that title. He talks about the movies he was number one on and the ones he was three. But it's really, really good. And if you like Steve Martin, I highly recommend this book. I loved it. Well, I'm almost done, but I love it so far.
great choice.
Illustrations are amazing.
A great
that
holiday
is.
choice too. Gift, a
Yeah,
gift.
it
Hint, hint.
Yes.
certainly is. And by the way, I forgot to
Mm.
mention that my first pick has been out since September, so it's already out and
Oh,
available.
I think mine's out too because I got it from the library. So
I'm thinking yes.
don't know the pub date, but it's available. Ron, how about you do
Okay.
your second pick?
Okay, I've got a few here.
I know you have a lot, so we're gonna have you do two each time.
I think I have talked about this one before, but I'm so excited about it. I think it's worth talking about again. And I think some people have already gotten early copies and read this. And I think if Anissa's with us, she's one of them. Because I think Anissa reads 8 books in a day.
Yeah, her and her triplets read like 12 books a day.
Yeah, it's crazy. Can't keep up. I can't keep up. But this book is so unbelievable. It's called Days of Wonder by Caroline
Oh,
Levitt.
oh,
It comes
I've
out
heard
in
of that.
April 23rd, and it is just the most, there's just so much to it. It's a story of Ella, and at the beginning of the book, she's being released from prison for having committed a murder that she was supposed to be in prison for 25 years. But there's a technicality, so she gets let out early. And what we learn early on, I'm not giving the spoiler away, she had been pregnant when she was in prison, and her mother kind of like forced her to sign up away the child adoption. So Ella, we learn in backstory, we learn that Caroline is the queen of backstory. He does it in such a way that you almost want to stay back there in the story and but then you kind of forget where you are, but then you go back. It's amazing. So Ella was
Wow.
accused of murdering her boyfriend's father. Ella
Oh
and her
my
mom
goodness.
are in a like not in a tenement, but they're in a poor section of New York City, and the boyfriend is the son of a prominent judge. And Ella and this young man fall in love, and they have so much going on. And the thing about it is, Ella's mother was in the Hasidic Jew community, and she was thrown out of it because she learned to read, and she wanted to have schooling and things. So she was became pregnant, and she was thrown out. So they're on their own. It's their life. That's the backstory. Ella decides that she wants to go and find the child that she gave up. That's where I'm going to leave it.
Wow.
It's stunning. It's just stunning. I'm done. April 23rd.
Wow. Anissa did say in the chat that she loved this book. And I also want to give a shout out to Kimberly Brock, who's watching us tonight.
Hey,
Hey, Kim.
Kimberly.
Yeah.
Um, that sounds really good.
Pre-order, pre-order, pre-order.
Pre-order, pre-order.
Yeah, that does sound amazing.
Well,
Let's see,
I
Lisa.
think. Oh, go ahead, Brenda.
I was just going to say, Lisa, did you have an announcement for us
I do, I think.
of our January book pick
Yes,
by any chance?
I do. So we've kind of shared little bits for things that you've been looking at or we might have done a little quick pop up, but we are officially announcing our January pick, which is Rebecca Not Becky by Christine Platt and Catherine Wigington Green. And it is going to be on January 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're so excited to have both of these powerhouse women on the show. Just make note that it is the 4th. We typically do the 3rd Monday in the month, but January, usually we end up on the 4th because of Martin Luther King Day, and there's typically 5 Mondays in January. So it's going to be on January 22nd. And this book, it comes out, the pub date is December 5th. So you can pick it up. It's really good. It's going to talk about a lot of things. It's going to spark a lot of conversation and thought. It'll be a book that sticks with you, talking about race relations and how we can be better as a country to work together between two women that are friends. So that's our January pick.
It's on
Rebecca
a lot of anticipated lists for December too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, but I have to tell you, Lisa, I know this is a serious book and it's going to be a great read, but it was hard not to laugh when you held the book right in front of your face and your hat was sticking out over the top. That's it.
You have a dancing Spammy and I have a dancing book.
Okay, and since we're making announcements, and as Lisa said, Rebecca Not Becky is big. The pub date is December 5th. It's available for pre-order now. Our next happy hour is going to be on February 29th. So we will be celebrating leap year with a happy hour. Yeah.
You mean you're going to have me back?
Yes, with Ron and a special guest.
Oh, God. Here we go. As long as it's not Hugh Jackman. After the last time, that man won't leave me alone.
Yeah, we had to tell Hugh that he's no longer allowed.
Back off.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's funny.
So, because we are still firming up some details, we will be announcing sometime in December, we're going to have a special pop-up announcement where myself, Brenda, and Anissa will share our February and March picks, and we'll also deep dive a little bit into the 2024 reading challenge. Don't fret, we will announce it tonight, but it's going to be later, so you have to stick with us.
Tease.
All right. And I would like to jump in and do a quick giveaway.
Yay.
So is everybody ready out there? Because we're going to do the giveaway for this book that I can't really tell you fully about yet until we do the giveaway because it'll give it away. So, but I'm bummed. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, the Friends in Fiction authors had a guest on the show who is very well known, and they asked her about her first book, and she discussed that first book that she wrote under a pen name. And I'm going to hold up the book to the screen, and you members can guess what the author's current name is.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
We want to know what her name is now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So the book, how to do this? The book
that's good.
is
we can
Where
see
Roses Grow Wild. So who is our author that she currently goes by? And we'll give that a couple of minutes for people to make in the comments their entries.
Yep. And I will say that there's a delay on screens sometimes. So the first one that shows up on my chat will be the winner. Sometimes people are saying, "Oh, I think I was first." There can be delays.
And it may have
somewhere,
been on
so
their screen.
Yeah, it's not always the same, but it's the first one that shows up with the right answer for us.
I'm sorry, Lisa. I talked right over you.
No, that's okay.
Now, Ron, once we get a winner, well, you'll know once we get a winner. Do you know who the author is?
I do.
Okay.
We do. We have our winner,
Yeah.
Bernadette Enriquez with Meg Cabot. That is the correct answer.
Yep.
And her
Way
pen
to
name
go,
was
Bernadette. Patricia
Patricia
Cabot.
Cabot.
Yep.
Ta-da!
As soon as Meg Cabot said this was her this was her book
Mhm.
and it's out of print now, I thought, I'm going to go find it. So
Karen
we
was
can do
close.
something.
Oh, sorry. Karen in the
No, go
chat
ahead.
was close too, but she said Patricia Cabot, and we asked for her current name, which was Meg Cabot.
Uh,
So, Karen, that was awesome that you knew that. But Bernadette is that's the correct answer, Meg Cabot. So please either send a private message to myself or Brenda and with your mailing address, and we'll get it out to you.
yay, congratulations.
Yay. She said, yay, thank you.
And Lisa, would you want to talk about our giveaway coming up, not on the show today, but
um, sure, I could go ahead and do that now. Um,
okay.
we are gonna do another giveaway. We'll talk about it again at the end when we go more into the reading challenge because it really fits into that for December. But we're gonna do a giveaway of the Wishing Bridge by Viola Shipman, and we're gonna be doing that as a giveaway on our Instagram page. We rarely do Instagram giveaways, so we want to give our Instagram followers a chance to win something as well. And it's perfect for the December prompt of read a holiday book by an author that has been a Friends in Fiction book club guest. That's the key piece, a book club guest. So we'll have details about that later on in the show, but that'll be a fun giveaway.
Will be.
Yes, and it is actually a book with a signed book plate. So good luck to everyone with winning that. And now, guess what? It's time. It's time for us to bring in our special guest.
Oh,
Oh, should
Lord.
I take off my feathers?
Well,
I'll leave
no,
it
I
on.
think it's a good conversation starter. Okay, I want to admit my special guest right now. I met her in person at first when she was in Sumter, South Carolina, promoting her new novel, The Girl from the Red Rose Motel. So I want to welcome Susan Zurenda to our happy hour. Welcome, Susan.
Hello, hello. Here
Oh,
I
there
am.
she is.
There you
Hi, Susan.
Hey, everybody. Hey,
Cheers.
Lisa. Oh, I love your
Thanks.
hat.
I'm not drinking a margarita like we did a couple weeks ago, but
Uh-oh.
I have a
Much
cocktail.
fun. That was so
How'd
much
I miss that?
So, Susan, welcome. And we're so excited that you were able to join us tonight for our happy hour.
Thank you, Brenda. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. And Ron, I think we've emailed over the years about
Yes.
authors, but of course we've never met until tonight.
No. Next step. The next time we'll be live in person. We're getting there.
Absolutely. And I have to say, Susan is a fellow South Carolinian.
Oh.
So I was excited to meet her in Sumter and hear her presentation about The Girl from the Red Rose Motel, which I hope you'll talk about here for a few minutes.
Would love
Tell
to.
us a little bit about the book. And I know you've gotten some recent accolades too. So why don't you tell us a little
All
bit
right.
about
Well,
the main story?
Here's the book, and I do think it has an intriguing cover. It wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but I think my publisher knew better than I did.
It's a great cover.
Yeah, I think it's a good cover also. I really do. So I'll just give you the quick elevator pitch of the book. Under ordinary circumstances, we shall say, impoverished junior Hazel Smalls would never likely meet an affluent senior in high school, Sterling Lovell. But when Hazel can't afford to have her JROTC uniform dry cleaned, and Sterling crosses a line with his English teacher at Ramsey High School, both students are punished with a day of in-school suspension, and a very unlikely connection begins. So it's set in the fictitious town of Ramsey, South Carolina in 2012, and it interlaces the stories of Hazel, who lives with her family in the dilapidated Red Rose Motel, Sterling, who yearns to break free from his wealthy parents' social demands, and newly widowed English teacher Angela Wilmore, stern but compassionate. So Hazel hides her sheltered homelessness from Sterling as long as she can, until he discovers her cleaning the motel's office one frigid January morning, when he comes with his father to help unthaw the frozen pipes at the motel. His wealthy father, ironically owns the establishment. With her secret revealed, the young couple's relationship deepens. Angela, the English teacher, in the meantime, who has her own struggles in a budding romance with the divorce principal, offers Hazel support that her family cannot provide. Hazel is a victim of much misfortune, and her embarrassment and need to hide her reality from people on the outside creates a lot of anxiety and insecurity, but she has this indomitable nature. And that spirit within her, along with her unlikely love story with the affluent Sterling and her empathetic English teacher, she gains self-confidence and actually triumphs in a very bold, life-changing decision at the end of the novel. So there's my pitch. There's my pitch.
That sounds great. We have a couple of comments. A lot of people say they love the cover, but Lori Brown says that she loved the book.
Oh, how kind. Thank you, Lori Brown.
That's awesome. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, so where did the original idea for this story come from? What was the first seed in your head about the book?
Well, thank you for asking that. I taught English for 33 years. And I am not Angela Wilmore, one of the main characters in the novel, the English teacher. She's a lot nicer and funkier than I ever was. But I don't think I could have written that character authentically had I not been a teacher and been around a lot of young people. I taught in the community college system for most of my career, but for the last 10 years, I went to Spartanburg High School. I live in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and I had a very unusual teaching day in that I had the 4 12th grade AP English classes. And so those are usually your brightest, certainly where education is probably valued in the family. Lots of time, young people who are fairly well off, and at least they think they've got the world by the tail, and they are, headed, they think their future's planned out. My 5th class was something called reading strategies. And the young people who were in that class had failed the exit exam and could not graduate from high school. I'd never taught reading in my life, but there I was trying to help them get their reading scores high enough. So what I wanted to do, Ron, I wanted to see what would happen if I brought 2 young people who are about as different in every way as is imaginable together, to see really in the end what good would come from it. And then I realized, once I started, Sterling was the first character who came to me, the young man. But as Hazel's character developed and took shape and took over, really, she became the protagonist. She needed a mentor. And so Angela Wilmore, the English teacher, was born.
Love that. And congratulations on all the success of it. It's been getting a lot of buzz, and I've been hearing it
Thank you.
all over the place.
I'm very grateful. Very grateful.
And
Yeah.
one of the things that I think is interesting is your book was published by University Press, which is just really interesting for that kind of novel. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you may not,
Pretty awesome.
our readers may not be surprised, but this was going to be my second pick for tonight. My as we do our round robin, I was going to pick The Girl from the Red Rose Motel.
Oh, wow.
And so you got a much better version of it, a summary from Susan than from me. So we thank you for that.
Well,
Now,
not necessarily, Brenda. I appreciate it so much. It was so much fun when I was speaking in Sumter, South Carolina, that Brenda came and was in the audience. So I was just absolutely delighted, and equally, and Lisa was in the audience when I was in Johns Creek, which is near Atlanta, Georgia. And so
Yeah.
how wonderful is that?
now
It
you
was
just have to get up to
great
Cleveland.
days.
Yeah, you got to get
Yeah.
up to Cleveland now.
I'd love to.
So, Susan, our book club members are probably wondering if they want to get your novel, where can they purchase it and get it signed or a book plate? Where would you direct them?
Well, my website has several links to purchase the book. It's got bookshop.org, so you could buy it through any independent bookstore that way. And it does have a link to the big boxes on there too. But it should be, I mean, even if a small independent bookstore doesn't have it, they should be able to order it for someone. But my website is just my name, Susan Zurenda. I know it's a crazy last name, Zurenda, but it's SusanZurenda.com. And you ask about book plates. I am getting some now. I've had several readers to contact me who've read the book and asked me if I could send them a book plate. So I will very soon have book plates, and you can just get in touch with me through the website, and I'd be delighted to send them.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you so much. And before you, oh, Lisa, did you have something?
I do have one thing from the chat. Mary says it sounds like it would make a great film. Are there any
Yes.
plans for that?
I wish I did have a plan for that. I wish some director would fall out of the sky, or somebody would see it or whatever, because I think, I mean, it's full of very timely issues, not just young people impoverished who, are struggling, and not just very diverse people coming together to see the good that can come from that. But there are all kinds of issues related to censorship with books, and some of the challenges as well as the joys of public school teaching. So I think it would just make a grand, timely film, dadgummit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we can
Cheers.
start another campaign.
Yep. You guys do what we do. Let's get the hashtags going and
Get the hashtags going.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Well, so
one question.
are y'all
go
ready
ahead.
to say goodbye to me? And
Well, we have one more quick question
good.
we want to
I'd
ask.
love to stay.
We want to know, our readers always want to know, what have you read recently that you loved, or do you have any book recommendations?
Right. It is a book club. I love Geraldine Brooks books. I have not yet read Horse, but I've read most of her other books. I loved Caleb's Crossing. It's one of her older books. I read it fairly recently. I just finished because I went to the Southern Festival of Books and heard Matthew Quick talk. And so I've just finished We Are the Light, which is an epistolary novel. It's a very intense psychological novel, but it is really, really, really good. I understand a lot more than I used to about Jungian interpretation. So
that is on my pile.
Cool.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's a really good book. You will enjoy it. And another one I've just finished is The House is on Fire. I think her last name is Beanland, but that was a really interesting. I don't read a lot of historical fiction, but this was pretty interesting. It was about the fire that burned the theater in Richmond around 1809 or 10 or 11, something like that. And it was a really, really well done book with several points of view of all kind of different people, a young slave who makes her getaway because of the fire, a young woman, who realizes that the men cared more about themselves than the women when they were getting out or trying to save themselves from the fire. Just a lot of, I think they're four really all different, very interesting sort of escape stories from the fire. So I love that. And I'll tell you two that are on my to be read list that I'm looking forward to. One is Absolution. I love Alice McDermott. I've read everything she's ever written. And then Ron Rash, who was kind enough to blurb my book, has a new novel out, first one in a good while, called The Caretaker. And I'm looking forward to reading that.
Very cool.
I love his work. I love Ron Rash, everything. The poetry, the short stories, the novel.
He's an excellent writer.
He's just
very cool.
A living legend.
Yes, he is. He is. He's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, you've given us
we have one request. Can you just hold your book up again? They
Sure.
A couple of people wanted to see the cover one more time before we let you go.
So it's, old hotels or hotels back in the day had these old key fobs, because now we have cards, but so the illustrator or the artist did the old key fob to, I guess, sort of reflect the old motel. And then down here, I don't know how well you can see it, it's kind of an old brick wall, like it would be
very cool.
part of the
dilapidated.
Super cool.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job.
Get the book.
Everyone's saying we're gonna buy it or add it to my TBR.
And then email me through the website and I'll send you a book plate.
Perfect.
Susan, all right. Well, Susan, you gave us
much.
You gave us some great recommendations too for reading. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
All about.
It is. It's so great to see you finally face to face. Next time we'll be in person.
I agree. And you're in really good company, Ron. These two are.
Yep.
Yeah.
PB&J, they're my jam.
There you go. Well,
hey, that's a good one. That's a new hashtag.
That's our new sticker. All right, take care, Susan.
Take care.
I can't thank you enough for having me, and
of course,
happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was a nice surprise.
She's delightful.
We literally, it's been years we've been back and forth about books and things, and I've never met her. I've never had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet her. Now I have.
She is really awesome and really sweet, and she looks fabulous. I will not ever call a woman out for their age. But when she told me how old she was, I did not believe her, and I still don't. She is it was fabulous.
It was a lot of fun meeting her, and we share a mutual friend, my colleague who works up in her area of the state, and it was just nice. Her first book, called Bells for Eli, which I can't reach but is over there, came out at the beginning of the pandemic. So it probably didn't get, we know what happened to to all the books, but
it's tough for everybody.
I was curious about, and we didn't get to talk to her for long enough, but I was curious about how long she has been writing, because I don't think that's a question I've asked her, but I know she's done short stories and such. Yeah, we'll have her back.
Ron, before we go forward, we had a couple of people in the chat want to know if you could repeat the name of your drink again.
Oh, sure. It's called the Turf Club. TURF. And I'll make sure I put a picture up and the recipe up, and
yay.
Why not?
Okay. Back to the bookish fun that we have. Sad this is our last one for the year. We'll just have to, I don't know. We'll just have to talk.
We have to look forward to the next one, because what I'm going to tell you is I got 2 gigantic books of arcs coming out next year, and in the winter I usually hunker down, and I'm going to have some great ones for February. Not that these aren't great. I'm just so excited about some of these coming out.
Love it.
Yay.
Okay.
Well, I already shared my second pick because it was The Girl from the Red Rose Motel.
Oh, okay. Then I'll do one and then we'll let Ron do two. Let's see, which one do I want to do next? Gonna do the witchy one. Are we surprised? No.
No, we are not.
So this one
You really
is
are living
super
back in
cool.
October, aren't you?
Hey, this is a cookbook, kind of. It is the cutest thing. It's a middle grade book. It's called The Witch's Cookbook by Taylor Pinsino. It is absolutely adorable.
Cute.
Yes, it's the first in a series, and um it's a I don't know how to say it without giving it away because it's so short, but it's great.
Is it a graphic? It's not a graphic novel,
No,
is
it's
it?
not a graphic novel. It's,
Okay.
just a regular middle grade book, but it's really good. Am I doing my feather thing again?
No, you're doing great. Well, that's kind of, you know, apropos.
Yes, it's great. And it's the first of a series. Has a little Halloween, there's a little witchy, but three main characters with the lead being a young girl who's very, very smart. And you should just read it to find out what's in the witch's book.
Nice. I love it.
Oh, I'm so bad at describing shorter books.
Well, it's not my forte, but thankfully Ron is our
He's the
rock.
master.
Oh, please. All right.
The author is really sweet too. Taylor is a man, and he is really, really awesome. So check it.
Okay. Are you ready? I teased earlier in the week, I think, that I had just finished a book that blew me away. And I put it out on the page,
Mhm.
right? So, but here's the thing. I actually have three books that I feel the same way about. I didn't know that they were
Wow.
going to be interconnected, but they really are. So this book is they're all like deep southern rooted novels, which is like my jam
Ooh.
apparently. I love them. Like
Mhm.
the Wiley Cash and the Faulkner and all of those kind of southern writers that we just revere. But this one, the first book that was written by this author was a place in Appalachia. So I thought, okay, we're good. And then I got sent a copy of the movie. And it takes place a little bit higher in the country, a little bit north in Western Pennsylvania, but it still has the same sensibilities and things. And it is Mercury
Ooh.
Ooh.
by Amy Jo Burns. And if
Nice.
anybody has ever read Shiner, actually,
Okay, I was like, I recognize that name, but I couldn't remember why.
if you haven't
Yeah.
read Shiner, you go back and read Shiner and then get ready for this one. It's coming out in January.
Nice.
And I could probably
Very
already
cool.
say Anissa's probably in the chat going like, I've already got a copy.
Well, yeah, let's see. Julie says my jam too.
Yep. Yep.
Mine
Anyway,
too.
so Mercury is the name of a town in Western Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, and it's kind of like the story of two worlds colliding. We have Marley, who her and her mom is a single mom, and her mother's a nurse, and they travel city to city, and they come into Mercury and kind of settle down. Then we have the Joseph family that is they're roofers by trade, and it's a dad and three sons, and they're named Way, Bay, and Shay, which is short names for other things. And then their mom, Elise, who kind of rules the roost. She takes care of all the food and all this. And you think when they first kind of collide a little bit, Marley is brought into their home to have dinner with by Elise, and she goes there, and it's a family. She's always wanted a family. She's always felt like she needed to have a family. She immediately is enthralled with this whole family. And one of the sons actually starts to take an interest in her, and she kind of goes like not sure about him anyway. But as the story goes on, we learn the history of all these people and how they came together and what happens since. But it all starts and all before all that. The prologue is actually at the church in Mercury, where the Joseph family, the roofers, are called to investigate something because there's water that's purple dripping down from the attic and the thing. And they go up inside, and there's actually a dead body with a mysterious ring that has to do with it. That's the beginning of it. And then we go back and we get the backstory of how Marley became a part of this family. And all it's like the characters in this book are just sublime. I loved every single one of them. I had to write to her right away and tell her that I was a puddle at the end of this. I was absolutely so it's a mystery, it's a family drama, and I think everybody's going to see themselves in these characters, and they're going to recognize their family dynamics in it. Although it's very oh, there's some relationships in the book that you just like, I had to write to her and go like, you got this so right. You wrote this authentic. And if you know, Merriam-Webster came out with their word of the year this week, and it's authentic. It's everything.
Nice.
This is so authentic, and it's such a voice. And this is going to be a big book. I have a feeling that people are going to just glom onto this book and run with it. Run with it.
Can you repeat the title and author one more time?
It's Mercury by Amy Jo Burns, and I believe it's coming out now on January the 2nd.
Ooh.
Yep, the pre-orders in. Pre-orders make a great holiday.
Yeah,
gift.
some
Did you
of
know
our
that?
Yes.
Some
Yes,
of our
they
members
do.
have already pre-ordered. They said in
They
the
have,
chat,
oh.
and
Yep.
Karen has an art.
Who does?
So,
Karen in
really,
the chat. Karen.
yeah.
Hey, read it and write to me. Tell me. There's so many spoilers I want to give you. Yeah.
So I had a question in the chat. No, the Witch's Cookbook does not have recipes in it.
Too
Basically,
bad.
yeah, I was like, oh, I gave a crappy. Let me just do a little quick spill. It's really about the Rip Van Winkle bakery, and there's a witch that they use enchantments from the Witch's Cookbook on their customers and their pastries, and it's a really cute story. So the secret weapon is her cookbook, but there are no recipes in it. Check it out. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Since we had a question.
Now what?
You said you had 3 that were a 1-2 punch. So
oh well, okay. So
you want to do your second?
Now
or
I'm
your
kind
third?
of I'm kind of moving on to my these are going to be podcast previews. So within the last few days, Patty and I have had 2 of the most unbelievable interviews, and they're coming up, and I'm telling you, they're incredible. First one I want to talk about is this one, Info by Sean Dietrich. And many of he's a Southern writer. He's in Birmingham.
Info.
You might know him as Sean of the South. He is a musician. He's a blogger. He's an author. He's a singer. I mean, everything. And the stories he tells. So in this book, this is not giving anything away. One of the characters actually gets called up to the Grand Ole Opry, and to hear Sean's story about how he himself got called to the Grand Ole Opry and what it has to do with this book is it's just it'll blow your mind. Anyway, he had us Eddie and I were just going like this. We were just like leaning into every word he said. It was so good. But the book itself is so tender and so sweet and actually so personal to his own story and his own history. It's about let's see their names. Let's get their names right. This guy named Nub Taylor, and it's about his estranged relationship with his daughter in this small town. And Nub's kind of a drunk, and he's kind of a badass, and people, whatever. And his daughter Emily has been more successful, and they just don't really get along very well. They kind of have a bond, but they really don't. But in the middle of it, Nub gets into an accident, and he's put into a hospital room with another woman who it's not a debut. He's written like 17 books or something. Sean Dietrich, and yeah, he's really, really good. So he meets this young woman who's actually very tall for her age. Her mother had just committed suicide, and she's in the hospital because she had something happen to her too, and her life is just really bad. She's 15, and it's how those two build a relationship, and how his daughter comes in. It's just all these people in this town and they're just so real, and they're so like you just want to hug them all. You want to hug them all. But he writes with, and So he writes with such humor, but it's to cover some of the pain that shows in it too. Like the line that
Oh,
I love in this book is he's describing somebody. He said, she is so old, she has an autographed copy of the Bible. And if you read go to his Shaun of the South website and read his daily blogs. There are days where this blog will make you bawl your eyes, and other days you'll smile
oh,
from ear to ear. And it's become a habit for me now. Every day I go and read it. And
Wow.
doing research on this man, I'm just like, whoa, whoa.
So the title
Kinfolk,
is
kinfolk, kinfolk.
Kinfolk.
It's just out. It
Kinfolk.
came out last week.
Yeah.
And I hope you'll all listen to this interview that we did with him. It's like I just was excited to meet him, and now I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge
Awesome.
kinfolk.
Yay.
Yes,
Well, I think it's time for us everyone's been waiting and people have been tagging Brenda, Anissa, and myself about the
yes.
2024 reading challenge. So I'm not going to do a drum roll, but are we ready to share? And first off, I want to say thank you to Anissa for heading up the reading challenge every year. She is awesome with the
Yep.
recommendations. She works so hard. And the three of us sat down and we came up with these prompts, and we hope that you love them as much as we do because we are super excited. And Anissa will be able to speak more about the reading challenge when we have our announcement for February and March. So,
and I will say quickly that for those who may be new to watching us, we have two different kind of main components of the book club. We have the book that we read together every month, and then we bring the author on through Zoom, stream live to Facebook, and chat about the book with spoilers after 7:15. And then the other element is our book club challenge, and these are our titles these are our prompts, our reading prompts for the year. So, Lisa, I will go through the list if you want to describe them or.
sure. So, the first prompt for January is to read a book published in your birth year. So, you've got a little bit of time to do some research, and it doesn't matter the type of book. It can be fiction, it can be nonfiction,
Or a
but it
stone
should be
tablet in my case.
Oh,
but
please.
it needs to be a book that was published the year you were born. And for February, we will be reading a debut book by a person of color. So, any debut book by a person of color. Moving on to March, this one's going to be fun. You can read a book that has book club or bookstore in the title. And there's quite a few that have just come out with book club, or some coming up next year that have
Yep.
book club in the title or bookstore. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that
April,
one has me
okay.
all over it.
Yeah. Brenda always reads book club, bookstore, libraries. The April challenge is to read a book by an author using a pen name. So, perfect example earlier tonight when Brenda did the giveaway for Meg Cabot and Patricia Cabot, or we all know a very popular author that we love that writes under a pen name. A couple of you might have heard of Mary Kay Andrews. Any of her books would count as well. In May, a book set in a place you'd like to visit. So get your travel hats on, think of somewhere
Yep.
you've always wanted to go, and
What's
pick a
on your
book
bucket
that's set
list?
there. Yeah. June is read a book with summer in the title. There's lots of good books currently and a few coming up with summer in the title. So it's perfect for June to get us in the summer mood. July is to read a book from a little free library. And bonus, if you take a book, leave a book, We are all big fans of little free libraries and sharing the love of books and reading throughout the land. So visit your little free libraries, donate to your little free libraries, and pick a book from the Little Free Library for July. This one is going to be so awesome because if you haven't noticed, everything out in the movies or TV right now has been based on an amazing book. So this is your chance to pick any of those lessons in chemistry. You could do, I don't know, The Color
Virgin
Purple.
River.
You could do Virgin
Yeah.
River. I mean, so many things that are out right now have been inspired by a book. So a book or TV show or movie that's been inspired by a book for August. I can't wait for that. September is a true crime book. Ooh. So you can read a book that's based on a true crime. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a documentary style true crime book. It can be based on a true crime or it can be a true crime book. Either one. Ooh. I know a couple of members who
This
don't
is
love.
Lisa's.
Hey, no way. This is Brenda's choice.
Pardon?
This
No
was your
way.
choice.
No,
Nothing to
it
do with
was
this.
not.
October, y'all. Okay. It's not witchy, but you have to read a book either about vampires or about werewolves. It could be a middle grade book, it could be an adult book. You pick, or you could be totally Switzerland and read something about both. But it needs to be about vampires or werewolves. And I can't wait for that. November, a collection of short stories or essays, which is perfect for nonfiction November, which is a pretty big thing. November is a big month for writing and reading because you have nonfiction November, which is pretty widespread. And you also have NaNoWriMo, which is for writers to write words. Moving on to December. A book recommended by the Fab Four, friends and fiction guests, or my personal favorite, a book club that has been recommended during happy hour.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So that's
And
how we're
there
going to
we
end
have
the
it.
year.
There you
And these
go.
will be easy to find because if you follow Friends and Fiction on Instagram, they always post the recommendations from the guests. So you can always go back and look at those to pick them. But we want you to watch Happy Hour and pick one of the ones that Ron, Brenda, or myself have recommended and tell us how much you love them. So that's it. That is our year. What do you think, Ron? What do you think about those
I
prompts?
think it's great you come up with some really original ideas instead of the usual run of the mill. So it's really going to make people think a little bit. Like as you were going through, I have all kinds of ideas in my head. So
any of them stick out to you that you're really looking forward to?
the book of short stories. I that is just that's one of my favorite things to read, and there's some
Yeah.
amazing examples out there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And essays. Speaking of which, Third Peg, Massachusetts. He was our guest on the podcast last week, and we went way over because he was amazing and he was great. Meg and I had the best time with him. And it's all his little essays about his life and how horrible it was and how he kind of made it to the Today Show.
Wow.
See how I snuck that right in there?
You're so good.
I know. I'm
Well,
impressed.
I have
Well-
we're in the official after show part of the show. So yeah. We've gone a little over, but it's our last one and we have a few things to say.
That's right.
Um,
That's right. We definitely want to go over our book club pick for December, which will be
Oh,
December
yes.
18th when we talk to Lisa Unger about Christmas presents.
Yay.
Excited about that. It's
am
as Ron
too.
said, it's a very different for a Christmas read, but we're very excited about it.
Yeah, super excited.
Christmas with murder.
Ooh, Christmas
Christmas with
thriller.
murder. The book in 3 words. Um, and just a reminder about this year's reading challenge is winding up with December as a Christmas book by a Friends in Fiction book club guest. And Christmas presents will count because Lisa Unger is going to be here December 18th. See how we did that?
It all comes together. It all comes together. That's so funny. So as we mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a giveaway of the Wishing Bridge on Instagram, on the Friends in Fiction Book Club Instagram page. And we will post the giveaway tomorrow. And what you'll do is you'll like the post, comment on the post, and tag 2 friends, and just tell us a holiday read you're looking forward to or one that you've already read. And we will pick a winner, and you will get the copy of The Wishing Bridge that has a signed book plate in it. So check out our Instagram page and look for the giveaway post. And good luck.
And as always, Ron, thank you for joining us tonight.
Of course.
And giving us all those awesome book recommendations. I want to read them all.
No, I feel like there's more. I want to.
Well, we did get one more. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of one more I want to share.
Sure. Yeah, I've got one more too, but you go first.
I kind of too, but okay, I'll be quick. I'm just going to do it like speed round because I really wanted to get these in. So,
yeah.
This one, it's called Drunkish.
I'm sensing a theme. I don't know.
It's not what you think. Drunkish, Loving and Leaving Alcohol, by Stephanie Wilder Taylor. This comes out on January 16th. And she wrote another book called Sippy Cups Are Not for Chardonnay. And it was hilarious. This is another hilariously like candid book about how she quit alcohol, and it's fun. It's a funny take at something that a lot of people deal with. So I recommend it. Drunkish by Stephanie Wilder Taylor, January 16th, 2024. The other one I'm going to quickly mention, I feel like poetry is an art that's dying, and I hate that because I love poetry. When I heard that this person wrote a poetry book, I was a little puzzled because she's an actress and I just don't see her as a writer. But I was mistaken. This book is called Pretty Boys Are Poisonous by Megan Fox, who's gorgeous and stars in one of my favorite horror films. But the poems that she's written about her life are, you can feel the pain. They're tragic and beautiful at the same time. I was taken aback because I thought it would be like a celebrity kind of like, oh, like 5 words on a page and they call it a poem. No. The cover is amazing, and it's really good. And this is her debut. So if you like celebrity things or you're into poems, Pretty Boys Are Poisonous by Megan Fox, which I 100% agree with that title. Okay, I'm done.
I'm not going there.
Okay. I'm gonna end it with on kind of a light note, because my final recommendation is, and this has been out since last year, but Christmas in Blue Dog Valley by Annie England Noblin. I had to remember. She has been on, I think, Happy Hour. But anyway, she always has a dog in the book, and I'm reading it now. Don't look at my bookmark. Was in there, but I'm reading it now, and it's just a lot of fun about a vet out in LA who buys a veterinary practice in Wisconsin, sight unseen, and has never really owned a thick coat before, and abandons everything to go to this veterinary practice. So anyway, that's my light read pick.
Yeah.
And Ron has something appearing.
Ooh. So for all of you who are looking for cookbooks or gifts, cookbook gifts. More is More by Molly Baz. It has become quickly a huge favorite of mine. She's a fresh, young, amazing cook, and the book is very accessible. If you have somebody who's kind of new to the world of cooking, it's great. She's got it, all of the recipes are very flexible, and I think it's geared more towards the younger or newer cook, although everybody will love it. She has everything you should have. Like, look at this French onions. You can
Oh
come
my
up with a
God.
you can
So
come up
good.
with a dinner party from here. But one of the things I love about it, and I shared this with some young people that I work with, and they loved it because there's little QR codes that you can click, and it'll take you to an audio instruction of the thing. And some of them are also, you click on the QR code, it'll take you to a video instruction. So it's like it's
Oh,
all
cool.
encompassing and full of technology, and her writing is just so cool and so whatever. But the rest, I've made several things out of here, and it's all good. And I'll just say crick crack. That's all.
Awesome.
That's all. She's awesome.
Well, this has been amazing.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a quick moment to thank I wasn't sure if I was going to say anything, but I mentioned NaNoWriMo and there's people and so I
Oh,
want to
we're going to
thank
mention it if you don't.
oh, I want to thank both of you. And I want to thank all of the love and support that I received throughout this month. For those of you that don't know, I participated in NaNoWriMo, which is a goal to write 50,000 words in the month of November. And on Monday night at about 11:35 p.m., not that I was counting, I hit my word count with 50,469 words. And I still can't believe it. My title of my novel is called Model Behavior. And
Nice.
I'm still working on it. I have a lot of editing to do. I have no idea what happens next, but thank you all so much for all the love and all the support. It's been amazing. So
We're very
cheers.
You're
proud of
getting
you, my
tons of
friend.
hearts in the you're getting tons of hearts in the chat.
Thank you. You guys have been amazing. So
And
many
Cheers.
messages and texts and calls
and you just keep on going. You keep on going.
Yes, keep on
I
going.
know. I'm gonna try. Then I'm gonna
Revise,
send the
edit,
book to you
revise,
guys
edit.
and you can't rip it
Cheers to
apart.
50,000 words.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
And thank you both
Congratulations,
for
Lisa.
everything for this year. It's been an amazing year of happy hours. You know how much I love
Yes.
you both. And I look forward to so much more next year. And everybody out there, just happy holidays. Friend me on Facebook if we're not friends already. I'll post a lot of food and book stuff. I mean, that's if that's what you're into, I got you.
He got you.
We got you. We love you, Ron. We would not want to do this
Yes,
without
we
you. So
do.
thank you for
It's so
putting
much
up
fun.
with us.
Oh, well, I'll have the blooper reel or behind the scenes stuff. I have a book I'm
Oh
writing about
gosh.
all that.
If
All
they
right.
only knew.
And thank you, book club members, for hanging in there with us.
Yes.
We ran over tonight, and it's just one of those things that was the last one of the year. So thank you for watching and for being a member of the best community in the world.
Yeah.
So we
Cheers to you
really
guys.
appreciate you. Yeah. Cheers to you
Cheers.
guys too.
Okay. Everybody have a
And
great night.
happy reading and
Happy reading.
Happy holidays and PB and J and Ron out.
Poof.